How can you make sure you win when there are multiple offers on a home that you love? Since we're in a hot seller's market right now, chances are that if you make an offer on a home, you're going to run into a multiple offer situation. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make sure that your offer stands out above the rest and make sure that you win that home of your dreams. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel where I go over all things involving buying and selling real estate. My name is Rob Bailey, realtor and home marketing expert in the Chicagoland area with ARNI Realty Inc. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to win that multiple offer situation. Multiple offer situations are frustrating to buyers for a number of reasons. First, it gives sellers all the leverage. If you try to talk the seller down on the price, they're just simply going to go with the other buyer who made the offer on the home, which means you have no negotiating power with them. Second, since there aren't that many homes to choose from in this market to begin with, you have a greater risk of actually missing out on this home, meaning you'll probably have to wait for weeks or maybe even months for another home to come on the market that meets all of your needs. Bottom line is, if you find a home that you like and you want to make an offer on it, you need to find a way to beat that multiple offer situation. Well, how can you make sure that your offer wins and stands out above the rest? Well, stay tuned and I'm going to give you 4 strategies that you can use to make sure your offer beats out the competition's. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll make sure to give you the #1 way that you can make sure that your offer wins and it's not just offering a higher price. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like and that subscribe button so you can make sure to be notified when I come out with new real estate content in the future. Alright, let's get into the first and most obvious strategy, which is to offer the highest price. We all know at the end of the day, the seller is looking to make as much money on selling their home as they can, so of course the offer with the highest price is going to stand out to them. But how do you make sure that you offer the highest price without breaking the bank or offering too much? Well, that's when you consult with your realtor to take a look at all the comparable homes that have sold in the area to see if the price that the seller is asking for is worth it or not. After that, what I tell my buyers is to simply think about what they feel the home is worth and then just submit their highest and best offer. Just simply put your best out there and the rest is pretty much beyond your control. The second strategy you can use in a multiple offer situation is to think about what type of loan you are using. For sellers, one of their biggest fears is to accept an offer only to find out that the buyer can't go through with the loan a few weeks later and the deal is dead, which wastes a lot of the seller's time. Because of this, there are different loans that are more appealing to sellers than other loans. So let me give you a quick breakdown on which loans sellers like versus which loans they don't. Well, first, before we even get into the loans, you have to know that cash is king. Any buyer that has cash is always going to stand out above a buyer that has a loan because when you have cash, you don't have to deal with the loan contingencies and the deal can close a lot faster. So cash is always #1. Second, sellers like buyers who use conventional loans. And the reason for this is because a conventional loan doesn't have as many contingencies as the other loans, so they're a lot easier to close. Also, conventional loans have stricter requirements from buyers, so that means buyers who use the conventional loans are usually more stable than the other loans. So that's why sellers love going with conventional loans. Anyone who has a conventional loan is going to have an edge over the other offers. After conventional loans, you have FHA loans. Now, while FHA is a favorite of first-time home buyers, it's not really a favorite to the seller. The reason for that is because an FHA loan requires an FHA inspection on the home, and if the home doesn't pass an FHA inspection, the seller is going to have to make the repairs that FHA requires, otherwise they won't go through with the deal. Most sellers don't want to deal with that hassle if they don't have to, and that's why they like conventional loans over FHA loans. Also, with FHA loans, the requirements aren't as strict, so that means the buyers aren't as stable financially as they are with conventional loans. At the bottom of the list, we have the FHA 203K loan or the rehab loan. Sellers really don't like this loan at all and really won't bother with it unless they absolutely have to. The reason is, on top of the FHA inspection that they have to do, there also has to be an estimate from a licensed contractor, and that estimate has to fit into the budget of the buyer. If any of this goes wrong, then this deal falls apart, which means the seller has wasted a lot of time with this offer only to end up with nothing. That's why sellers tend to choose FHA 203K loans or rehab loans last and prefer pretty much any other loan to this one. So what do you do if you're using an FHA loan, for example, and you're in a multiple offer situation against conventional loans? Well, you have to realize that your loan isn't as appealing to sellers as conventional loans are, so you have to do something to make up for it. So, for instance, you can offer a higher price in order to beat out those other conventional loans and stand out to the seller. Also, stay tuned and I'll give you another strategy that you can use that will really beat out the competition and all those other conventional loans. My third strategy for you to win in a multiple offer situation is to write a letter to the sellers. When there are many offers on the table and the seller has to look through them, it may be hard for your offer to stand out. One way to do so is to write a letter to the seller explaining who you are and what purchasing their home means to you. Who knows, maybe you can tug on some heartstrings and you can convince the seller to take a deeper look at your offer, especially when compared to the other ones. Now, I know some people, and I was one of them at first, may feel that writing a letter is pointless and that sellers really only care about money at the end of the day. However, and I can tell you this from experience, I have seen it to where a letter has made it to a seller and the seller loved the letter and ended up choosing that buyer to purchase the home. So don't skip out on writing a letter. It may be the one edge that you need to be able to win that multiple offer situation. And now, let me give you my fourth and probably strongest strategy that you can use to win that multiple offer situation. Even when you don't have the best loan or maybe you can't offer the most money, you can use this strategy to beat out the competition. At the end of the day, remember that sellers really just want their home to close. Sellers are afraid that you are going to back out of the deal in the middle of it, leaving them with a lot of wasted time and none of their money. The way you can help to ease sellers' fears with that is by giving them favorable sales terms. Sellers want a smooth transaction at the end of the day, and they really don't want to do any work. They just want to simply sell their home. You can make that easier by giving them good terms in the contract. Let me give you an example. First, you can offer to take the property as is and let them know that, hey, you don't need to make any repairs. We'll take on anything that's wrong with the property. Now, of course, when you do this, you can still get your inspection just so you know what you're getting into, but this lets the seller know that they're under no pressure to make any repairs or have to fix anything with the home. All you have to do is sign a contract and the seller can sell the home and just move on. They can get their money and be gone. Another sales term that you can adjust is to make sure that you do not ask for closing credits. I know it's a very popular thing to ask for a closing credit, but in the seller's eyes, asking for a credit at closing makes it look like you as a buyer don't have enough money to close and you're not as financially stable. This means that the seller is going to be afraid that you won't be able to make it all the way through the deal and you're just going to wait until a month later to pretty much cancel out on the deal because you realize at the end you don't have enough money. There are also many other terms you can offer the seller in order to make the deal more favorable to them. Simply have your agent talk to their agent and see what the seller is looking for. For instance, maybe the seller isn't quite ready to move yet and maybe they need some time to move. You can offer them that time. There may be many other things. Maybe the seller has a tenant that they need to get out first and you can offer them that time to get that tenant out in order to make the deal as hassle-free for them as possible. Doing things like these will help your offer to stand out even above an offer that may be offered a higher price, but maybe they're asking for gutters to be repaired or they're asking for some simple leak to be fixed or maybe they're asking for an outlet to be changed, something like that. Maybe the seller doesn't want to bother with any of that. That's where you can step in even at a lower price and you can beat out the competition. At the end, you just have to find out what the seller is looking for and simply give it to them. Alright guys, those are my strategies for things you can do to win in that multiple offer situation. Any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me at my website, which is BaileyAcresProperties.com. Once again, my name is Rob Bailey, Realtor and Home Marketing Expert with ARNI Realty Inc. Thanks a lot guys. Have a good day.